Chapter 17. God's Spirit must defeat Satan's spirit. Carry out war that disconnects the curse of the family. God regards the family as precious. However, when a person who believes in God and a person who does not believe in God become husband and wife, and the family is noisy, the life of faith cannot be properly lived. Such life of faith is like the divided Korea, north and south. The family where a person of heaven and a person of the earth live mixed together does not become one. They are always hostile towards one another. That is why we must end the war, whatever it takes, and one can be fulfilled. If a wife is so afraid of her husband that she can't be properly present for worship, she ends up being dragged around all the time. If the life of faith is lived in this way, the curse that flows in this household can't get disconnected in one's entire lifetime. For works to arise, there must be a time of coming face to face while being obedient before truth. There must be one time of coming face to face with that person. These days, there are almost no instances of believers undergoing persecution. This is because churches are not offering worship properly. When worship is offered well and one diligently lives his or her life of faith, persecution arises. But what sort of persecution would arise when she briefly attends church once a week on the Lord's Day? What kind of persecution would arise when she's pleasing her husband every day? Since she fears her husband more than God, daily living is always difficult. That is why one must go through a spiritual war. Then peace comes. The love of God is sacrifice. When we sacrifice by His love, the other person's heart melts. Then the war that disconnects the family's curse ends, and the other person bows his or her head before truth. This way, one saves the family and peace comes to the home. God's Spirit must defeat Satan's spirit. This era is flowing in self-centeredness to a critical extent. Rather than loving the other person first, our world is about the self, and the heart that guards the family is disappearing. The media broadcasts image of crime just as they are, but it should be leading the era into the right path, so the problem is critical. What is worse, people favor TV dramas whose trivialities plant the heart of depravity. Society is proceeding in lust. We must know how drastically evil this era's flow is turning. The spirit of discernment has blurred, and we are losing our discernment. If we lose our discernment, thankfulness, joy disappear from the heart, and our divine nature becomes hazy and dull. If our sight that sees the spiritual world becomes dark, we only see things of the flesh, so we experience difficulty. At first, it seems like it's a good thing, but later the spirit collapses. Spirits of darkness have entered inside the human and are destroying families. We must know how frightening they are. They are filthy spirits that can't be seen. Currently, these spirits have also gone inside churches and are destroying them. The church must open its eyes to this era so that it can do the work of saving life inside man's spirit. Because this is an era where spirits control, this era can't be corrected by human power. A corrupt world of the spirit can only be corrected by God's power. It says in Jude 1:9, "Yet Michael the archangel, in contending with the devil, when he disputed about the body of Moses, dared not bring against him a reviling accusation, but said, 'The Lord rebuke you.' Both God's spirit and Satan's spirit try to take Moses' corpse. This work is work that arises when he comes again. A corpse does not refer to the corpse due to one's death, but refers to believers who live at the time of the end. The Spirit of God gives us thankfulness, joy, and peace, but Satan drags the believer around and tries to snatch away thankfulness, joy, and peace that's inside the believer. Then we must discern well whether we will be used while in the grasp of God's Spirit or used in the grasp of Satan. If husband, wife, and children live together in one home, and the home breaks apart because not one person has the heart of sacrifice, then family members will undergo difficulty due to worries, anxieties, and troubles. If their thankfulness, joy, and peace of heaven disappear, Satan has snatched away heaven's things through the problem. By eating what God said not to eat in Eden, they disobeyed, and all heaven's things were snatched away. So God banished them to the outside of Eden. Spirits of disobedience are still flowing inside sons who have received salvation. We must defeat Satan's spirit with God's Spirit. Thus, we must gain freedom from inside God's truth and enjoy thankfulness, joy, and peace. We must cover this earth with love. If humans don't have love, they cannot live. But if they do have love, all things become resolved. When it becomes the last days, one loves oneself and money, and love towards the other person dries up. Love dries up because Satan steals love through problems. Now, when he comes, these spirits who seized the power of the air get cast into the earth. They get cast into the earth, and the banquet of the kingdom of heaven opens. Those with love arising from within go up to the place of the banquet. But if there is no love, they sink to the earth. That is why he said, "There is woe to those who dwell on the earth." The one who took hold of the power of the air is cast into the earth and steals love inside people. If Satan takes love away, then joy disappears. This is to match lips with Satan. Satan does not call us and tell us, "I'm coming today." Satan enters without news at any moment, like lightning. So joy disappears, but we don't really know this. Now, God banishes Satan and pulls up the ones he loves in the clouds. Jesus said, "The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit." Clouds are not the clouds that can be seen. Just as clouds are light and intangible, love and joy are intangible, but they make our hearts light. So the inside of clouds is the inside of his love. Now, for Satan to surrender, the love of God must cover this earth. All kings of the earth must be killed. Pride and dignity inside humans are very frightening things. They absolutely never let someone lose to another person, and they cause people to be enemies with one another. We must not let pride and dignity stand in the marital relationship. If I don't put up my pride and dignity, the other person is humble. If those things are not inside of me, the other person does not stand them up either. If they are not shown from inside myself, they also disappear inside the other person. Yet since they're always inside of me, the other person raises them as well. In the era of love, pride and dignity toward one another crumble. God will make families the happiest of all. If he enters our families, we must give thanks. Now, shouldn't there only be things to laugh about in the family? Shouldn't there only be good things that happen in my family? The confession that my family is the happiest family, the confession that my family receives blessing, must arise inside. In the era of love, God makes us throw away pride and dignity, and he causes us to love one another. If the other person doesn't make the sound that tells me he or she loves me, then I must approach that person first and make the sound of love. Pride and dignity is the Goliath inside me. If Goliath does not fall down at first strike, I must throw the sling stone however many times until this enemy inside me collapses. When Abraham killed all the kings of the earth, Melchizedek blessed him. The pride and dignity that blocks my marital relationship in the family are kings of the earth. For the blessing of Melchizedek to rest, kings of the earth, which blocked so that we cannot be tied in love, must be killed.